Hey lovelies!
Thanks for stopping by my channel today. As you can see, I have a guest in the studio with me, Mr. Stephen Ford. Stephen, thank you so much for coming on with me today.
It's a pleasure.
And thank you for finally meeting me in person.
She is a real human being.
I am a real human being.
Yes, we are officially friends now.
We are officially friends.
Facebook official.
It's YouTube official, which is even more serious.
Yes, because now it's monetized.
It's a monetized friendship.
I'm now an asset to you.
Okay, I'll make sure to give you a cut of the monetization of this video.
Yeah.
So what we decided to do, Stephen and I wanted to get together for a while now, just to, of course, meet in person, but also we had a little makeup swap action going on. And now that we're both fully vaccinated, we were able to do it in person. So what we wanted to do was bring you some content together. And we did have 2 videos sort of planned out, but I'm going to be honest. So we have been sitting here chattering on about these brands for about 2 hours now. So what we're going to do is we're just going to split this video into 2 parts, and this is going to be a ranking of makeup brands. So I've really enjoyed getting to see this video going around the beauty sphere. I know you said that you've seen it out of the beauty sphere, but here on YouTube, right?
Yeah, there's people rank everything, whether it's musicians or cell phones. They rank everything.
Yeah, I think it's a really good way to kind of get to know someone's pros and cons, their tastes and what they like, and also experiences. It's a really good way to it's like being able to hear your friends all talk about the one guy that they all mutually dated, and you can be like, oh, I can stay away from that one guy, right?
Totally, absolutely. It's also mini reviews of a brand at large. It's like a snapshot of the brand right now and how we feel about it, our experiences and our thoughts.
Yeah, and I've really loved getting to know your views as a newer makeup user in under a year, kind of learning and growing with makeup and finding makeup brands that you love and some that maybe you don't. So this has been, really, really fun to get to know your thoughts. So I've really enjoyed this. Now, if you are coming over from Stephen's channel, I just wanted to say hi. If we haven't met before, my name is Kelly and I'm a professional hair and makeup artist. And here on my channel, I strive to keep beauty real. Real honest, real relatable, and real fun, which today was definitely real fun.
A lot of fun. And real honest.
And real honest, for sure, all of the things. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, don't forget to click subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Speaking of future videos, to make sure you see part 2 of this video, head over to Stephen's channel. I will have his channel and his Instagram down below. He's got great content, such a wonderful person, and it's been great to get to hang out with you today. So Stephen and I each came up with some brands to be able to chat with you guys about. So we will rank it from 1 to 5. We have 5 categories on here. So we have our tippy top being legendary loves, right? Those products that you know that you're probably going to buy before you even get to see the launch.
For some of you, that might be because you're building the collection and you gotta, have all of them. I know some people are like that with Natasha Denona, Pat McGrath. Yeah, I'm kind of a Natasha Denona stan. So we were just before this video film, I think I have 7 or 8 of her palettes. I need to calm down.
Yeah.
And then the next one is Old Faithful, which we're kind of it's reliable. It's a reliable brand that you can go to for your staple products. Maybe it's your foundation or your setting powder or your concealer, but it's nothing that is sparks joy, I would say.
Yeah. It's that it's good, but it's not you're clutching it to your heart, right?
Yeah, it doesn't get my magpie heart fluttering.
I feel like you and I, we've had a friendship for a while now. We talk almost every day, I would say.
Yeah, we're morning coffee buddies. Every day it's good morning, friend. I'm on my 2nd coffee already. It's only 10 a.m., but it's a rough day.
Right. It's what coffee are you drinking? What makeup are you wearing? Right? Yeah. So back to our rankings list. Right in the middle, we're going to have the jury is out. So this is sort of maybe it's that brand that you haven't tried enough from, or maybe the brand that hasn't launched enough, or something where your feelings are still somewhere in the middle and you're still trying to figure that out. So I thought that it would be good to have that one right there where it's I don't know, the scales might tip either way.
Yeah, I feel there's some brands where it's maybe you haven't even bought it yet, but they're intriguing to you. Yeah. I have a few brands like that.
Yeah.
The next one is We're on a Break. So I was thinking of the Ross and Rachel thing from Friends. We're on a break. We're seeing other people right now. Maybe we'll come back together at some point. So I feel there's a few brands where maybe they may not have created anything interesting lately, or maybe they've done some things where you're like, you're in timeout.
Suspicious behaviors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a few brands like that too.
For sure. I think there are a couple on here. And then our hitting rock bottom is going to be Thank You Next. That sort of brand that honestly, maybe you've unfollowed them on socials. You're sort of like not interested. Really, it's just something where maybe you've been burned too many times, or it's just something that really doesn't match your aesthetic, right? Like they don't necessarily have to have done anything bad, but I know that I have those ones that it's like, I've never been intrigued. Even at a half off sale, I probably wouldn't pick anything up.
Yeah, the sales will get me though. I bought a lot of stuff on sale that belongs in that last tier. So,
well, I keep wanting to see like a makeup mistakes video from you, or like a makeup regrets. So maybe we can hear some of that dish over on your channel sometime.
Yeah, for sure. I'm supposed to be collaborating with somebody in the next couple weeks where I'm talking about regretful purchases. So there will be a video of that coming up soon, and some of these brands might be on that list.
I can't wait to hear about it.
But not going to tell you until then.
Okay, so make sure you're subscribed so that we can all get the dirt, right? So Steven, since I might have some viewers that have never had the opportunity to see you or haven't seen your content, I would love for you to introduce yourself.
So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Steven, and I am new to this beauty space. I do make some YouTube videos here and there when I get the desire to do so. Mostly I'm active on Instagram. Yeah. So I think Instagram is my favorite place because I like the photography of the makeup. I really enjoy the engagement there. But in general, I like to lead my life with kindness and compassion. And for me, it's about creating a space that is welcoming for everybody, and just trying to be thoughtful and mindful with what I say and what I do and my actions. And that doesn't mean that I'm not critical of things, because I learned quickly that kindness does not mean you can't have boundaries.
Yes.
And it's important to tell people no when they've done things wrong. But, and sometimes I go a little hard on brands.
So we've done things wrong.
Yeah. I feel like every time you buy something from a brand, you're basically voting.
Yeah.
You're voting with your dollars.
Yep.
And it's important to be able to say to a brand, like, I think you've done something good. And I think I take that very seriously. Yeah, I try to be very thoughtful. I have a tendency to go into lecture mode, so you may hear a few of those.
So if you guys haven't checked out Steven, please do. I will have all of the socials, his YouTube, his Instagram down below. Now, if you guys want to know the dirt on how we feel about these makeup brands, let's get right into that. Dive in. So the first one is Anastasia Beverly Hills. So to me, this is a brand, especially out of like the brands that are on here, I feel like it's one of the longer standing like brands. So I feel like they've definitely like had an evolution. How do you feel about ABH?
I learned about ABH for the very first time through Drag Race, actually, because they work a lot. Like, I think they were like the prize package for was like a year supply of Anastasia Beverly Hills.
Oh, okay.
Was like the prize package from RuPaul's Drag Race. So that's how I discovered them. I have only used one product from them, and it's an eyeshadow palette. I have the Norvina 2, the Pro palette from them, and I've only used one eyeshadow from that entire thing. So for me, it's like jury is out.
Okay.
Because I haven't used enough of it to really make an opinion, and I don't think they've done anything necessarily that's like makes me question the brand necessarily. I think some people feel that way about them, but for me, I honestly can't even remember what that is. So. But I also have like the memory of a gnat, so I forget what happens with things all the time.
Well, but okay, that just really shows though, if it's not that memorable, then it probably wouldn't be that. It's not really good or really bad, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
For me, ABH is like the jury's out. I haven't tried anything from them. I know you've tried like a lot of their brow stuff.
Yeah, I honestly think that Anastasia Beverly Hills was one of the, at the time, it was considered like a higher end brand. I think now it's almost like kind of like mid-range, but like I think that their eyeshadow was, I think the first palette that I got was probably the Modern Renaissance palette, which I think just about everybody has now, but...
Is that the one where it's like kind of neutral on one side and like rosy on the other side?
Yeah, it's like kind of like, it was right at the beginning of when all the pinks started coming out. And I really like the original ABH formula. I definitely, like the brow, like obviously Anastasia Beverly Hills brow products are what really has sort of like kept the brand going.
That's made her billion.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that they're all really good products. Like, I honestly don't think that I've tried one that I didn't care for. Do I think that there are some competitors that are just as good or, you know, maybe better? Sure. But like, so for me, it's a very good, like, I do feel like for the most part that it's a brand that for me is in that Old Faithful category, because I know that the quality is going to be really good. I'm probably going to like it. But I will say, like I have the foundation, or I had the foundation, and it was like, okay, this is good, but it wasn't like a love of mine. And I haven't been excited by anything makeup-wise from the brand other than brow products in a while. Like, once Norvina sort of stepped in, I just sort of was like, like the bigger chunky square palettes. I'm like, what am I doing with this? Like, it's the size of like a picture frame.
Yeah, I've only been in the makeup sphere for like a year now, but I do feel like ABH like barfed out so many palettes all at once. Like, it was like totally. Palette after palette after palette, where it was kind of like that fast fashion kind of makeup thing.
Totally.
And now they've been silent for like a year and a half, and they came out with a palette of purples, and I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
A palette of purples that looks really similar to other palettes that they've done.
Yeah. So for me, it's like, that's why I feel like the jury's out on them. It's like, where's the innovation? What are you doing? You know?
I just feel like it's that there are so many brands that have entered the makeup sphere in the last like couple years that it's sort of like they've like kind of they've gone down in interest, but for me, I feel like the quality is still there. Like, my Jackie Aina palette, I use a lot. I haven't been wanting to buy anything new, so it's like, well, it's probably the jury is out going forward, but it's Old Faithful going backwards.
It's almost like you have to like split the brand.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you've got like their eyeshadow, their old eyeshadow formula, their brow products, and those things are definitely your Old Faithfuls. But then like some of this like Norvina stuff, when they've tried to become like an Instagram brand, that's when it's become like jury's out.
Yeah. Oh, I'm right on the cusp, but I'm gonna go with Old Faithful.
Should we call it like a 2.5?
No, that's cheating. That's cheating, and also it's gonna make it really way harder to do graphics wise. So I'm gonna go with Old Faithful just because I do still, the stuff that I have, I love. Do I feel like I need to run out and buy everything, Anastasia? No. So I'm gonna go there. All right. So Tower 28.
Tower 28. If anyone doesn't know, Tower 28, they do glosses. I think they have bronzer and highlighter, and do they have blush?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and their shtick is very like clean beauty, I believe.
Yeah, clean, and I think also like almost like that Glossier type vibe.
I get California beachy vibe from them.
For sure.
They're some of my favorite glosses, but again, I haven't tried like all the glosses out there. I like Tower 28. I like their aesthetic. I like what they do. They are a company that tends to like give money back to different causes and everything like that. So like the brand as a whole for me is really cool. So they're definitely more than the jury is out. I'm not taking a break from them, but I don't know if they're legendary love for me because like it's not something that like I love them. Like if Tower 28 was to go out of business, I don't think I would be heartbroken.
Yeah.
So I would say that they're an Old Faithful. Sorry. So I would say they're an Old Faithful because I feel like I can rely on their lip glosses. That's all I've used from them. It's what I'm wearing today.
Yeah.
So I feel like I can rely on them. So they're Old Faithful for me.
Okay.
Even though they're not that old to me.
I know, like, it's like, I guess, it's like, it doesn't, I don't think a brand that is like your Old Faithful, I guess maybe old, what wouldn't be the product, especially since you've been in like the makeup wearing universe for under a year now?
Under a year.
Okay, so for for you, you're like one of those like 10-year-olds like that's old music and it's from like 6 months ago. But I think that it's really in like a tried and true, like a standby. You can grab it and you can count on it.
I can depend on them.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I would say that that's where they are for me too. They're almost nudging into the jury is out just because I've tried a couple products that I was sort of like, like I have that space spray, the SOS spray, and I'm sort of like, okay, like I feel like I just paid for $16 water.
Can I talk about that real quick?
Yeah.
That stuff hurt.
What?
It's supposed to be like the stuff, like this, they have this spray, if you guys don't know, that is supposed to be like good for anyone who has like sensitive skin. It's like supposed to be like, I think it's like a hydrator or like a I'm not sure exactly
Yeah,
what it's meant to do.
I think it's meant to like help calm the skin, like rebalance the skin, and
It
almost be
burned my
somewhat protective.
face.
You have really sensitive skin, but that is who it's marketed towards.
I have sensitive skin. It's marketed to people like me. I put it on my face because they say, wash your face, spray this, let it air dry, and then do your moisturizer. I sprayed it, and my face immediately was like on fire.
Wow, that's crazy. You never told me that.
No.
Things I'm learning out by watching my own YouTube
I'm glad
channel.
I bought the mini. I bought like, so this is her.
Yeah, that's the one I have too.
I bought this size of it, and I'm glad I didn't spend a lot of money on it. And I hate it. I guess I haven't said anything about it because I'm like, I have a hard time saying critical things about indie brands.
Right.
I'll say critical things about ABH and...
That's favoritism. I did not hate the spray, but I didn't love it because I do think it's meant to be like this like toning spray. Honestly, I bought it because Samantha March got it and she was saying that she liked it. She said that she thought it helped with her cystic acne, and at the time I was going through some acne issues, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this. Like I got the little travel size, which was like 12 or 16 bucks or whatever, but I was like, I don't notice anything. I don't notice anything good, and I don't notice anything bad. But like, I wonder what's in there because I think it's alcohol free, so I don't know what's in there. So, okay, so Steven's gonna look. So I think for me though, I would agree. I really do like the glosses. I wouldn't say that they're in my like top 3 though, but I have liked what I've gotten. But for me, it was trying the cream blush formula that I was like, okay, I would gladly take all of these shades, and I feel like I would really enjoy the formula. I'm gonna go with the jury is out because I don't feel like Tower 28 has released enough different things for me to really be able to judge. And when I feel like there's one product that I was like, meh, but I've only tried like 2 others that I really like, I think for me, it's a jury is out.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I'm on Sephora's website.
Yeah.
They only highlight certain ingredients. They don't go through like everything, but they did say it has hypochlorous acid, which is meant to soothe the look of redness, cleanses and nourishes the skin. It also has water and sodium chloride, which act as the optimal delivery solution for the hypochlorous acid.
Sodium chloride is salt, right?
Sodium chloride is salt, yes.
So I wonder, because again, I know Samantha said that she liked she liked that spray, but I know she tried a foundation that had salt in it, and it totally gave her a reaction like instantly. So I wonder if it's the salt in it.
Yeah, it absolutely could be.
Okay, so Terra Moons is the next one.
Yeah, so Terra Moons for me is one of those brands that's always, like, I know all of our friends buy a lot of really lovely singles, and Terra Moons is one of those brands that a lot of people have a lot of singles from. I almost spent $300 at Terra Moons recently because they were having this summer sale where it was like, it's like late spring sale, right? So it's like 20% off, and you could pre-order some of their new chameleons.
Yeah. And
I pre-ordered a few things, and I got those. They recently released like 3 like metallic shimmers. I think it's like rubidium, cesium, and palladium or something like that, which looked really beautiful and metallic. So I ordered those.
Oh, you did get all of those?
I ordered the 3 of those, and a few. I think my order ended up being like $50 compared to $300. Thank you to Rupi for talking me out of that insane purchase.
Good to have friends that can talk you off a makeup cliff.
Yeah. So
talk you back from, not talk you off of it. Sometimes our friends talk us off of it too, but they talk you back from it.
Sometimes our friends are enablers. I can be an enabler sometimes.
Yeah,
I totally understand that.
Yeah.
So for me, it's the jury's out.
Okay.
Just because I need to touch them. I need to play with them. I have seen a lot of people play with them and swatch them, and they look beautiful. But yeah, I have this habit of buying a lot of stuff from a brand before I try it out. I bought like 4 Nomad palettes, 3 Ace Beauty palettes, like 6 Juvia's Place palettes.
You just like jump right in.
I'm like, I'm all in.
Yeah.
I'm doing this.
See, I don't do that. Like I have roughly like a dozen Terra Moon shadows, and I will say I really, really enjoy them, but I almost went down that road. Like my cart was really, really filled up. In fact, during the last sale, it's funny. Thank you, Rupi, because I think you saved us both, because I had a big cart and I was talking to her and she's like, all of those shades, they're not limited edition. You can get them whenever, wait for Black Friday. And I was like, you're right. I have so much shadow. I don't need to be going and doing this. But I do think that Terra Moons is one of my like top 3 indie formulas for sure. So I know that you're gonna really enjoy it, and I can't wait, of course, to see that rose gold because I almost got that one. But I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for Black Friday. If you guys know me, you know that I am here for a sale, and so I'm waiting for Black Friday because they usually have like some things are buy one get one, some things are like discounted a little bit more than 20%. So I'm just holding out. But for me, boy, I want to say Legendary Love, but I mean, it's been not even a year. So it's like, can something be a Legendary Love when you haven't even been using
Love
it for a year?
Love at first sight, right? So, okay,
That's true.
hypothetically, you go to the restroom, and I steal all your Terra Moons and throw them out the window.
What?
How would you feel?
Very, very sad and angry at you.
So I think they're Legendary Love. Well, I mean, you'd be sad because that's money you spent.
But I can't think of many shadows that are in here that I would be okay with you chucking out of the room. No, I'm gonna go with Legendary Love because truly, I don't think out of the shadows that I've tried, I haven't been disappointed in a single one. So on kind of like a spectrum of another like indie brand that recently I think more people have been hearing about, Danessa Myricks. I am curious to know like where you put this one because I know we've talked a lot about Danessa.
Danessa's a hard one for me because I have like, this is like one of her, what is this, the mattes. I've used this kind of thing on my eyes a bunch and I've learned to love it. Like, I feel like her matte formula, the cream formula, and the color fixes for me would be like a Legendary Love. Like, I feel I've learned how to use them. I feel like I've figured out how it works for me. But then she has other formulas in her collection that I haven't been able to figure out how to use. Like the foil. I brought a foil here for you to use because basically, like, it makes my eyelids look scaly.
Right. You said you were really like, you love that.
I didn't think
you've tried a couple colors now.
I didn't think I had textured eyelids until I used her foil formula. I'm like, what is this? So
yeah. So but you haven't tried anything other than the color fix. Oh, you have a Vision Flush, don't you?
I have a Vision Flush, which I think is really beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've used. Oh, and I have a Twin Flames from her, which again emphasizes texture. So I feel like for her, I'm actually going to take a break. I think I'm on a break with Danessa Myricks. Because if I think about it, I know, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm not taking a break from you.
So, so some of that is just because I know I've recommended products to you, so I almost just feel like...
Don't. I will bill you for those.
No! But you know, I mean, that's how it is as a content creator, or even like when you have friends that you're like, oh, you should try this restaurant, and they try something on the menu that they don't like, you're like, oh my god, like, but you're right. I mean, there are different formulas for each person, and some are easier to work with, and some are, you know, less than easy to work with, and I will agree. I think the color fix, as far as like usability, the creams and the mattes are like 100% my favorite part because I use them mostly as a base for other things, or like even for like blushes, bronzers, whatever. So I do think that things get more tricky. Now, I mean, if you guys haven't seen it, I did a massive Danessa Myricks haul in her last like 30% off sale. And so most of the things that I got from that, like the skin products, most of them I thought were really good because now I have the Balm Contour, I have the Vision Flusher Beautiful. So I feel like most of the things that I've gotten I really like, but we all have those things that we get them and we're like, I don't know. And once you have that one thing, you're like, okay, I'm struggling with this. Like, so I get that. There's just like a little piece of my heart that kind of breaks because, but I mean, obviously for me, this is going to be a Legendary Love.
Oh,
like
absolutely. If you said anything otherwise, I'd be confused.
You'd be like, you're lying. Because for me, I think the only thing that I didn't care for was the Vision cover as a foundation. But I knew that I really wasn't going to like it for that because it's so high coverage, even by shearing it out. And I've only played with it a couple times. And I really just got it to experiment with. Like, I wasn't at all going to be like, this is going to be my next ride or die. Like, it was like, okay, this is going to be a lot of coverage. So yeah, I feel like for me, it's a Legendary Love just because I feel like I just have so much fun, and it sparked so much creativity within me that I'm like, oh, this is just so much fun to play with, and I have a big hoard of color fix.
I'm almost curious, like, how you would approach these brands as like a working makeup artist, because as you're talking about like the foundation not working for you, I'm like, but you have clients that it could work on, perhaps.
Yeah, totally. I mean, and some of it's even just personal aesthetic, right? Like someone might prefer more matte skin, someone's going to prefer more dewy skin, someone wants higher coverage or less coverage. So from a quality standpoint, I think that everything has been good in my personal experience of using it.
Yeah.
But yeah, legendary love for me.
It's possible that, you know, when you're on a break, you get back together, right? Ross and Rachel got back together in the end. Although I have not seen the reboot, so I don't know how that worked out.
Well, all I know is that I'm gonna be, because I bet probably like Monica was always trying to like push Ross back into Rachel's arms, so I'm gonna be like, here, try this contour balm. Here, like try.
Well, you did supply me with a few cream products, and you're trying to get me into creams, and I still have yet to like really fall in love with creams. Okay. I'm still a powder gal.
Okay. Well, we're gonna get there, and then I'm gonna get you to stop using your fingers. No, that'll never happen.
So the next brand on our list is Charlotte Tilbury.
Charlotte Tilbury, darling.
Yes. Okay, so Charlotte Tilbury is going to be my very first legendary love. And that is because I cannot live without her. I have it somewhere around here, but her Hollywood Flawless Filter, that product alone has become like, and her bronzer and highlighter. Like those three products alone have like made me think like, I don't think I will ever not have these products in my collection.
And the Flawless Filter for you was a very quick, like you fell deeply in love fast.
Yeah, head over heels. But also I have a tendency to be very like impulsive, and I make decisions very quickly.
Really?
Yeah.
Did not know that.
I'm very impulsive and I make decisions quickly. So like I was saying with Danessa Myricks, she's on a break right now, but who knows? I might be in love with her tomorrow. So
So do you have the Film Star Bronze and Glow? Is that the highlight and bronze that you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, that's.
I was on a journey to find a bronzer, and everything was too warm. Everything was too deep for me, because I don't want to look like I have color on my skin. I want it to look like it's just a natural deepening of my skin, you know?
Yeah, right.
So I feel like her bronzer really was the best one for me until I found the one I'm wearing now, which is from CXC Beauty, which I really enjoy that one. So yeah, I think Charlotte Tilbury. And here's the thing, it's not even just the products. For me, it's like the vibe of Charlotte Tilbury. I've been a fan of Charlotte for years. Before I even touched makeup for the first time, I have loved everything from Charlotte. It's just so extra. Like, I love everything about her stuff. Like, when I was first dipping my toes in makeup, I was like, I want to be a like rich old lady. Like, I just want to be that person who just like carries around like a Dior Quint around town. They're like, look at this beautiful thing. And like, to me, that's what Charlotte Tilbury is.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would agree with a lot of that. I feel like for me, it is more at like the Old Faithful level, just because. So I feel like almost everything I've used, I've really enjoyed, but there are some products I'm like, oh yes, for sure. Like Flawless Filter was one of my favorites. I actually remember also the Film Star Bronze and Glow. That was like, I was coveting that compact. First of all, rose gold packaging, obviously I'm gonna love it. But like, I was like, one of these days I'm gonna have one of these. And I remember when I ordered it from Beautylish and it was like, oh, you know, I'm like opening it up and it's like, this is so beautiful. And it is, it's such a beautiful undertone and texture for just about anyone. Like, you know, anyone can wear it. It looks great on the skin and it's so beautiful. And it just makes you feel like a bougie, old Hollywood actress.
Yeah.
Like
this is Marilyn Monroe makeup. This is, you know, Elizabeth Taylor makeup.
Totally. Yeah. It's like that, like just very fancy, like you just feel like you could sit at your vanity and like, it just gives you that glam experience. But as I've tipped more into, you know, trying a ton of different formulas, indie brands, all of that, like it's the eyeshadow for me that like knocked it down from legendary love, just because I love eyeshadow so much. I feel like Charlotte Tilbury has good quality eyeshadow. I don't feel like the quads are worth $50 or whatever they are. So it's like, for me, like most everything I've tried, I've liked the Eyes to Mesmerize pots, but again, it's a potted shadow that I feel like a lot of brands do well. I've liked the eyeliners a lot. I love, love, love her lip liner. Like, that's one of my holy grails. The lipsticks are good, but is it like, oh my gosh, I need these? No, but I love the packaging. So it's that, like, that's why for me, it's like Old Faithful, because I know that everything is great. I know that everything is going to look good, but it's not like, in all honesty, there's nothing that I couldn't replace in another brand. It like might not be as pretty a packaging.
I feel like you're talking me down.
Uh-oh.
You know what? It was inevitable, though, because I'm, you know, not only am I impulsive, but I'm very easily swayed. But no, I think when you brought up the eyeshadow and the lip liner, it reminded me of, like, past trauma with the brand.
Oh, no.
Her lip liners, for me, were so dry.
Oh.
But also, I have a beard. So, like, the lip liner around my lips really accentuated all the hairs that grow like right up to my lip line. Yeah. So like the lip pencil just wasn't creamy enough for me, and so it just wasn't, it was an issue with me.
Yeah.
And then the eyeshadow, like, it's fine, but she hasn't put out any eyeshadow color story that is inspiring. Her eyeshadow color stories are very like everyday standard office kind of makeup, I feel, which is, it's totally like a valid color story, but doesn't inspire me the way some of these other brands inspire me.
There are a lot of things that I could, if you were like, listen, you need to get rid of 4 Charlotte Tilbury products, I could do it and still be happy in my collection. So that's why it's like, it's one notch down.
I think you're right.
Okay,
thank
so
you
we're going to be Old Faithful for both of us?
Thank you for helping me with that
Sorry,
decision.
Charlotte, I just like, I knocked you down a peg. So,
it's all good.
Oh, here we go. Another brand with a well-known owner, Fenty Beauty. So Rihanna's brand, for me, see, like, I love quite a few things from Fenty Beauty, and there are a couple things that I am just like 100% not interested in. Like, I also think that up until recently, a lot of her skin products were geared towards people with oily skin, which is not what I have at all. So I feel like I love lip glosses in my top 3, like gloss bombs in my top 3. I've really enjoyed like the cream products, the cream blushes, the cream bronzers, I really like. So for me, it's just like recently a couple of the products, like both of the products recently, the blur drops or the skin blurring thing that she just came out with, and the like concealer, I was like, ooh, I've just heard such mixed reviews on everything. So I think for me the jury is out, just because I feel like a couple of the launches, like the things that I have I love, but like there's a lot that I've just not been interested in. So I think it's going to be the jury is out for me.
I have used a few of her products. I've used her powder foundation, and I've used her primers. Like one is a mattifying primer, and the other one is more of a hydrating primer. Yeah. I think they smell nice, but I also think primers are kind of a gimmick.
To a point. I mean, they're a lot of times they're either like overrated hydrators, or something that has like a silicone or a mattifying. Like they're basically like putting more skincare on.
Yeah, and I recently, what I've been doing with my primer is basically all I do is like I moisturize after I take a shower, wash my face, moisturize, then sunscreen, wait 15 minutes, and then I do my makeup.
Yeah, so you're just basically using your moisturizer as your primer. Yeah.
And her powder foundation didn't match me very well. I used like 2 or 3 different like matchy things online, because like in the last year we haven't been able to go in and like do any kind of like tone matching or whatever it's called, shade matching. And I just feel like from what I read on the descriptions of her foundations, like they don't really fit for people who are kind of like cool undertones. Her stuff seems to run a little yellow.
Yeah, which for me is great, but not so much for you.
No, so like I bought the foundation that was supposed to be like a fair to light, cool tone, and when I put it on, it makes me look yellow. And I'm like, that's not what I'm looking for. I want to look as like, I don't know, I want to look normal and natural looking. So, and also I was told that the powder foundation would be good for me because I didn't want to wear too much, and I thought powder foundation would be a really good way of just kind of using a little bit of coverage over like the red areas on my face. It just didn't work for me. And I mean, I like what the brand has done by like shaking up the makeup industry and creating all the shade ranges that it did. And now it kind of is the gold standard for, I think, shade ranges.
Yeah.
So for that, I want to give it a high ranking. But from my personal experience with the brand, I haven't had a positive experience. So for me, I think we're on a break.
Okay. Yeah.
Nothing they've done has been like inspiring to me or making me feel like empowered to use the makeup in a way that I feel beautiful.
Yeah,
So.
I think that makes sense. You can think a brand has been innovative and a brand has been really good at making people realize they need to be more diverse. But if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you, you know? So I can definitely see that. And I think you're right. Like, Fenty is the first brand to actually bring a true diverse range of shades. And it's sort of like what everybody kind of compares to now.
Yeah.
And so they're like that benchmark, but if within all of those tones there isn't something that matches you, it doesn't really help, does it?
No. And I think you were talking about like her makeup line being really good for oily skin people because I know oily skin people tend to want to be mattified.
Yeah.
I'm a weirdo. So I'm combo skin.
Yeah.
So I'm oily dry, but I want to look natural, almost natural radiant. Like that's what I really want to. So I need a product that can like both mattify me but make me look glowy. And like, how do you do that? Well, with the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter.
That's right. Charlotte going. So, all right, Rihanna's out, Charlotte's in.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Speaking
So,
of women that you like to go gaga over.
Natasha Denona is next, and that's Legendary Love. What about you?
Well, we've obviously talked about like your deep dive into Natasha Denona.
So like last year is when I discovered makeup, and I had started with like a Milani eyeshadow palette, 2 Milani eyeshadow palettes. One was like mostly loved mattes, and there was like soft and sultry. It was like one was like warm tone mattes, the other was like kind of cool tone. It wasn't very long before I started buying all of the Natasha Denona. I think it was like maybe like 2 months into that. And about Glam, it was when Glam came out.
Okay.
I saw Kara C and I saw Michelle Wong. I saw both of their videos on the Glam palette, and I was like, oh, I need that in my life. And that started my addiction to Natasha Denona. Hi, my name is Steven, and I'm addicted to Natasha Denona.
I mean, there are worse things, Steven. So, but you've only tried Natasha's eyeshadows, is that correct? Okay.
I haven't tried her blushes or highlighters or any of her base products.
Have you been interested to do so? Or is it really you're just like, if I'm going to spend money on Natasha, it's going to be eyeshadow?
I have a hard time spending a lot of money on base products. And I feel like she's kind of like a luxury level cost-wise. And I have what I like with base stuff. And also like I've heard mixed things about her highlighters and blushes and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, eh.
Yeah, and that's for me, like, there was a point where I would have said Legendary Love. Like, I'm pretty ruthless, though, because I, like, even looking at our list, I'm like, oh, am I going to actually have one of those? I think I've only said, like, one of them so far. Yeah, so, well, but I think that we also wanted to bring to the table brands that, because there are certain ones that people just know that we love, right? Like, so we wanted a little bit of, you know, kind of, like, some talk through, but, like, I really like Natasha's eyeshadows, but I feel like all of it's good quality, but sometimes it's not always reliable, but it's usually reliable. But there are some times where it's like, I will pull out a Natasha Denona palette, do it, and be like, oh, I wish I just had a little something more, like a little pizzazz. I need a little inner corner sparkle. I feel like sometimes I just need a little more kick in the pants, a little more something sparkly, like, I don't know. I think usually everything is going to be good quality, but I'm the same where it's like, okay, I have wanted to try Natasha Denona highlighter, but I have way too many highlighters, so I haven't gone down that road yet. But like the lipsticks or things like, I did get the puff paint blushes because I was like, oh, liquid blush, I love blush, like let me try it out. But usually it's like, it's just her eyeshadow brand or her eyeshadow formula that I really care about. So as a whole brand, I don't think I can put it in Legendary Love. It is an Old Faithful because everything that I've tried I can rely on. But like even oh my gosh, is it the chromium eyeshadows, the liquid eyeshadows?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, these are good, but then trying other indie brand liquid eyeshadows, I was like, I mean, they're good, but they're like way more expensive than some other brands. So I can't put her in the top tier status.
That's fair.
I know.
That's fair.
I'm sorry, Natasha.
It's okay.
So I think that this makeup therapy session was good for both of us.
Yes.
We got to get a little tension out, and we got to know a little bit more about each other's preferences too, I feel like.
I was kind of surprised to hear some of the things you had to say, and I was actually really surprised about the things I said.
Right. So if you guys want to see the rest of our thoughts and everything we have to say about the other set of brands, make sure that you go and check out Steven's channel. I will link the video right up here. Steven, I'm so glad we got to do this, but more so, I'm just happy that we got to finally meet each other in person. We got to actually have a conversation at the same time rather than back and forth on Marco Polo. So thank you so much for heading up this way.
This was so fun.
Yeah.
And I would love to hear what these people have to say about our rankings. I don't know about you.
Yes.
I feel like we're going to upset some people.
Yeah, we probably will. So you guys will have to let us know in the comments, and let us know. We were talking about maybe doing a live this way. I think it would be a really good way to get to know some of your input on brands in the future. I think this was really fun. So let us know if you'd like to see that. So if you guys enjoyed this, if you enjoyed getting to see our makeup therapy, our rants, our little delve into our opinions, make sure to give this video a like, and we'll see you really soon. Bye.
Bye. Steven does a lot of TED Talks. I don't know why I just referred to myself in the third person. But I'm not a sociopath.
That's funny. I'm gonna send you that clip.